Welcome back in, everybody. I'm very excited to talk to our next guest. This is a bad dude right here. This guy is one of the best young up-and-coming stars in the UFC. Della Maddalena, he is joining us here. JDM, thanks so much for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure, Brendan. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, we're very, very excited about this, man. This fight against you and Kevin Holland, it has another performance of the night written all over it for you. How jacked up are you for this matchup?
Yeah, I agree. I reckon it's got performance of the night written all over it, and I'm excited. I'm really keen to get in there and test myself.
He was down here a couple of fights ago in Miami, and he was stirring a lot of stuff up during fight week. Do you care about that stuff? Are you going to kind of keep to yourself? Because he can be a bit of an antagonist. How much do you anticipate that'll be part of the gamesmanship this week?
I mean, it's already Wednesday, and I haven't really had anything to do with him, so I'm happy as. But I'm looking forward to Saturday. I think that's when it really matters. I don't really, yeah, whatever. I'm in for whatever he brings. But Saturday is what I'm ready for. Like, I know nothing can happen until then.
Is there anything to the talking that he does in the cage that you simulate? Are you looking forward to that? Of you guys, of whatever will come with that? Or do you think the fight, it's mostly just going to be the fight that matters?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to be zoned in. So, yeah, I'm going to embrace it. If he is talking, it's interesting to see what he's got to say. But I don't think I'm going to be really, probably won't even understand what he's saying, to be honest. I'll be in the zone. I'm going to try and get in his face. If he talks, I'm going to keep putting the pressure on.
Has there ever been a time during a fight, like I'm sure you're listening out for like coaches and things like that, but has there ever been a time where like somebody said something weird in a crowd or something that kind of just threw you even at any level of MMA?
Not really. I mean, the closest thing I can remember is like here fighting last time at the Apex. I remember hearing the commentators, which I've never really noticed before, but this time I did. But in terms of an opponent, never. I've never really had an opponent that's talked to me, so it's going to be interesting.
Jack, you're widely regarded as like one of the best boxers that steps inside the octagon. Who are your if you were a big boxing fan, who are your big boxing idols, I guess, getting into fighting?
I've watched heaps of boxers, so there wasn't really one that I like stepped out from the others. I liked watching obviously like Canelo and Triple G. And then some old school. I was like Sugar Ray Robinson. He's pretty cool to watch, but whatever. Love watching boxing, but yeah, I plan on being the best fighter in the UFC. So I'm not too into that title, to be honest.
Not into being boxed in on just one thing, but like,
Yeah.
is there something to the idea like, the guys who are talked about that the I guess the beauty and I guess your precision in boxing or whatever skills you have, like. How do you think that benefits you of being technical, even though you're an all-action fighter? A lot of your fights are super thrilling. How are you so good on your technique when things get wild?
I feel like that's it. That's what I like to, what I find is the most important part is to rely on technique, fundamentals in the fire is what I'm about. So I just try and practice the basics a lot and then try and do the basics in a fight. I don't think I do anything too wild, just the basics.
Is there ever a time is there a time you ever recall that the instinct is hard to keep on a hold to, like where you do want to get wilder or crazy on certain moments?
Yeah, I feel like that was my last fight. I think I got a bit too wild. So that was one of the things I probably want to change from the last fight is what you're saying. I probably just stuck in the pocket for too long and tried to make it a crazy fight rather than just trying to pick my shots. So it's a balancing act, though, make it exciting, but also keep the technique and try and get in unscathed.
But JD, that had to be so hard because of all the changes that you had to go through. I imagine in something like that, you kind of are just based on like what's good with me, what can I dig down? Because hell, man, I can't even imagine what that was like. You have this opponent drop out. Maybe you're going to fight here. So that had to be unbelievably, I guess, frustrating and a big mental challenge for you too. On top of that, you got to go fight a guy in a cage.
For sure, for sure. But it was exciting as well. It's a cool story, it makes for a better story in the future. So, but it was fun. But that's the thing. I think I went in there, I was just had all that built up energy and I just probably let it explode rather than being clever. But it was a lot of fun and it was a cool story. So I'm glad I went through it.
How much are you enjoying, I guess, the time that like now it's ranked guys, you were supposed to take on Sean Brady and kind of start that climb, but just this starting to climb up this very talented welterweight division. How much excitement do you have just for that you're finally on kind of the path of knocking off guys to eventually become a world champ?
Yeah, no, I feel great. Like I'm just want to, yeah, one fight at a time. I want to just keep climbing but I want to be consistent. I want to have this time next year. I hope I have another 4 fights. Just stay consistent and keep building one fight after another.
I'm curious to get your perspective on this, JDM, because we just saw this past week Israel Adesanya lose the title, and nobody really thought the odds makers had Sean Strickland as one of the biggest underdogs out there, and it's so insane to see in this sport all of the greats have a little bit of vulnerability. It's so hard to hold on to the belt long. As a guy who's kind of getting ready for a run at the title, is that inspiring at all when you see, man, anybody kind of can be beat? It can happen at any time. The call can kind of happen whenever. What is your perspective, I guess, of all of these champions being knocked out, the guys who had the belts for a long time, even Valentina, who, is in the main event this week? We're seeing a lot of that now where the young up-and-comers are kind of taking over.
Yeah, for sure. As you said, you can't count anyone out. This is a sport where I think it's a lot to do with the mental game, and you never know who's going to show up on the day and who's not, and whoever does has a big advantage. So anyone can win. It was cool to see, just knowing that, yeah, the greats can be beat. Anyone can win on any given day. But that's what makes the sport so great. You can have these crazy streaks, but someone's always going to be there that can take it.
How much do you think that people don't understand how good are the guys that we don't know yet? Because I feel like as a gas bag who talks about this sport, we're always talking about, oh, this guy hasn't been on this stage yet, or this guy hasn't done that. But you guys are throwing in so many rounds with guys at gyms and the best of the best, and people just don't see it yet. So how much do you think that's overlooked in the sport of just what you guys are doing to get ready for the elite moments that you guys haven't faced yet,
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, it's just timing, just timing for the right time. And then you have to make everything come together on the night, which is what it's about. And yeah, and that's why you do see guys beat that you do see underdogs win. You see new guys come in and win because they're very good, and anyone can win. It's the truth on the night.
In the preparation for this fight against Kevin Holland, he can come with some weird strikes from kind of anywhere. How do you prepare for that? How do you get ready for the unorthodox power shots that may come from anywhere, the wild man kind of style that he can have?
It's hard to prepare for the unexpected, so it's just a matter of just waiting for the moment and then staying calm and pulling the trigger when I need to, but definitely just being defensively sound and waiting for my time and slowly put the damage on.
You mentioned earlier in the interview, you want to be in his face. How I guess how quick do you expect to want to make that impact known that that you want to dictate, I guess, the distance of that fight?
Yeah, I think I got to get in early and start damaging him. I want to get him on the back foot as quickly as possible to get that finish.
Yeah, you're certainly very good at that, man. You definitely you are one of the more entertaining guys coming up. This welterweight division, what would you like to see as the path? I've seen the clip-ins this week. You've mentioned a guy like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Seems to be a popular guy you young up-and-comers want to get in there with. Why does a guy like Wonderboy Thompson, why would that intrigue you?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't. He's a legend, and I think they chucked his name at me. So I was in straight away, but I don't know. Maybe he's taking a different path. Whoever, anyone in the top 15, I would get excited about and think is a good challenge, So I want to keep climbing. I want to fight again by the end of the year and just stay consistent, keep beating people in the top 15.
How do you that we've seen some guys kind of rise up like Ian Gary and Shavkat Rakhmonov. You guys all seem to be coming. What do you think about your skills up against a guy like Ian and a guy like Shavkat?
Yeah, I think I'll beat them both, to be honest, and I'm ready to fight them. I think, we're definitely going to fight in the future. I think it's almost inevitable, and I look forward to it. I think they're both going to be great fights, but I think I'll beat both of them.
Before we get you out of here, JDM, one thing I'm always, I think as Americans, we see sometimes people from Australia, and we're always marveling at things. I've talked to Alexander Volkanovski. He goes shark diving before fights because he thinks it helps with his breathing. That feels just very Australia to me. Do you have anything that Americans think are weird, but you think is just normal that is a little bit crazy?
A little, I don't know, not really. No, I don't think so. We play rugby a bit. I don't know. I like to go surfing in general, but there's no waves in Las Vegas. But if there was some waves, I would take them.
Well,
But nothing wild.
it's terrifying over there, man. You got the great whites. You have have you seen scary animals in the water like that?
I've been in like the closest I've been is in like a cage in the with great whites in the ocean. It's pretty insane to see them in the water. They're just way bigger when you see them in person.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you volunteer yourself to get into a cage with a great white or near a great
Well,
white?
I just imagine the cage. I would imagine the cage would protect me.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how big that cage would be for me to have to trust it. I do know. Listen, being in a cage with you must be absolutely dangerous. It is super entertaining, and we can't wait to see you coming up. ESPN Plus. You can see Jack Della, Maddalena coming up against Kevin Holland this week on ESPN Plus. They are the co-main event of Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. Thanks so much, my friend. I appreciate the time.
Pleasure, Brendan. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care, man.